Okay, I believe we're at video 7 here. In our last video, we went to the Rickstown Peak. Today, we're going to work our way down to some more cairns and a serpent wall. We're going to work our way down there, working our way around the entirety of this. We've worked our way to here. We're right at this location right here. We're going to work our way down to the serpent wall, and eventually, in our final video, down to our foundation and ultimately out. Okay, with a couple other serpent walls in there. We've looked at some of those already. So here we go. All right. Oh, my man's tangled up. All right, here we go. So, as I've talked about in previous video, or definitely in our last video, and I believe the 5th video, it's hunting season, man, here in the fall. So something to be conscious of depending on where you're at. But like I was saying, hunters are people who hunt, have great respect for nature. They recognize the need for safety, but at the same time you have to, be mindful and careful. If you don't want to put go out of your way to put yourself in a dangerous situation. But hunting, just to give a little discussion here, hunters are great conservationists. They practice, if you're deer hunting, there are limits, you get tags, there are limits on what you can, on what you can take. So they can't just come out here and recklessly destroy a deer population, and those days are long gone. So that's conservation, that's management of a resource. And I know that some people would say that's controversial, and they'd be like, hunting is bad and all that stuff, but it's conservation. It truly is, especially in the times in which we live, where as we've populated, Eddie's all fired up right now. So we've cleared a lot of habitat for he's on the scent. Something came through here. Eddie, relax, bro. We clear a lot of habitat and take space. It condenses our deer population, especially. There's less predators, and what can end up happening is, you can end up having issues with food supply, and you can have overgrazing in areas, and it can create a lot of problems. In one of our national park podcasts, if we get to the one I'm talking about, there's a great discussion about that, about the almost complete destruction and annihilation of the wolf population in Yellowstone, and how proper management needed to be instituted, because it was creating a lot of ancillary problems, because they were overhunting the wolves, which then disrupted the natural predator cycle. So then other species, like other animals that wolves kind of maintained, and through their predator and prey relationship, those different animals no longer had the predator coming after them, and there was like deforestation problems, and I can't really find the word I'm looking for, but there were issues with just destruction to the forest in general. So it's something they noticed, and the National Park Service and the federal government had to check itself and stop hunting, overhunting, I should say. So it's a fine line, but hunting is conservation, and if you know any hunters, anybody that hunts, they are all about conservation and protecting the places they hunt. And also, it's old school, man. It's old school, baby. You got something that lived off the land. I mean, you can make the argument that might be better than something from someplace you don't even know where it came from or what it was fed, and so there's something to be said about that. And maybe you disagree with that, and that's okay. Maybe I'm just talking. Maybe I'm giving you a little devil's advocate here, and just talking about what hunting is all about. But anyways, it's something we could discuss. Like, is hunting conservation? Do you agree with me? Do you disagree? Totally fine. I respect your opinion on that. It'll be something that we could talk about, and we'll definitely be looking at it as it pertains to our national parks, for sure. Get out west, the hunting of the bison population, the almost extermination of the bison population. Pretty dramatic stuff. So, where we're headed right now, trying to get ourselves over to some more cairns and another serpent wall, and I've tried to time these up for 10 minutes, and hopefully we can pull that off. We will be moving on here soon. Another bit of videos here on Tri-Town, but there's a lot more. There's a lot more to offer, a lot more than just Tri-Town, and that we will certainly be getting into. And for the most part, when we get into those videos, we'll be doing it in a way that's, hit and run, like one video and move on. Because most of the preserves are significantly smaller than Tri-Town. I'm saying this, we'll see what happens. If you remember in the first video, you probably don't, but I'll remind you, I have never seen another person back here. And I'm kind of tempting fate with that by saying that. Like, every time I say it, I expect to come upon somebody. But I genuinely am always shocked by that, because this place is pretty great, and it's kind of a hidden secret. It's new. It's a new preserve. I think 2018. So I mean, it's new for sure. So a lot of people probably don't know about it, but you do. And the question is, why haven't you gotten out here yet? How come I never see you guys out here? I mean, what are we doing? Let's go. We should all be out here. You guys should get out here and get some exercise. Oh, we're coming upon our cairns. Okay, almost walked by them. Okay, the fact that they're all piled together could mean a couple things. It could mean farmers were clearing land, or it could mean perhaps this was an area for, essentially a native burial or place of rest. If you were here, and I can't really tell you this for certain, and I think you can tell from the video, there wasn't any farming going on right here, guys. I mean, why would there be cairns built in this area by farmers? That's me speculating. I don't know. I'm not acting as though I have all the answers, but that is most certainly native burial sites. Here you can see we just came through. We started up in this area after the Rickstown Peak, which was in our last video, and we've worked our way down. And I think we're right there, right on the yellow and blue trail, where we're going to see the Serpent Wall, and that's where we'll end our video. So a little bit more. Here we go. But as I was saying, guys, the Serpent Wall, as mentioned in previous videos, those are the walls we connect to our native brothers that lived here for thousands of years before European settlement of these lands. So when we see the Serpent Wall and we see cairns all in the same area, one has to think, what was this place to them? What was this land to them? I got to tell you guys, it was something important to them. It was almost certainly a place of burial and return and mourning, and just that human experience of grieving, and ritualistic. Like we have our thing too. You go to a cemetery, that's what they are. They're places. They're part of our process. That European, Western practice of going through the grieving process. So I was hoping to get this video in under 10. We've crossed that threshold. So I'm pretty consistent with that, gotta admit. But nevertheless, again, I've pointed this out to you guys before. The little walkways, wherever you see these, there's no water in here, but this is a low spot. And that would kind of indicate that, that area floods out. So, in if times of precipitation, that's going to be a place that would be wet. So again, they don't want you making your own pathway. They want you staying on the path. So by building those bridges, they're kind of acknowledging this area is going to get wet, and we want you to stay on the path. We don't want you deviating from that, because then what it does is it wears out other parts of the forest here, which can create problems. That kind of stuff can grow and spread out, and then you get like different water drainage issues, and there's a lot going on out here that nature takes care of on its own and has figured out. And when, if you start messing with that, it can create other problems. So I've droned on enough. Just thinking about those cairns at Serpent Wall as we were walking down through. Kind of cool, if we can, that would be a super interesting deep dive to get into, for some research purposes, to learn about that in more detail, because we're surrounded by it. We have it all over here, and it's good to be curious about that stuff and learn about it. Again, humbles you. So definitely not going to make it a 15-minute video. I already broke my 10-minute rule, so I'm going to call it a wrap on this 7th installment, and we're going to do one more here at Tri-Town before moving on. All right, peace.